Hey guys, it's Miki ASMR here, and today I'm going to be reading an Oikawa Tooru ex-listener. This one is titled Anonymous Deliveries of Milk Bread, and yeah, without further ado, let's get right on into the video. Oikawa unlocked the door to the locker room, walking in a little early, the smell of fresh milk bread filling his nose. He set his bag down, seeing the fresh pan of milk bread on the windowsill. Oikawa thought it was one of his fangirls who managed to break into the locker room. Into a closer inspection, he saw a note, but it didn't look like a love letter. Dear Oikawa Tooru, I made you some milk bread since I'm trying out some new baking recipes for the first time. I didn't really know who else liked milk bread, so I'd like to let you taste test these ones. Please don't tell the other members. I don't want them thinking I'm some crazy fan of yours. Please leave these pan, plate, pan lid, and the utensils on top of the east side of the air conditioning vent, with a note explaining what I did well or what I didn't do well. Please do not sugarcoat anything, as I want to improve. Thank you, Anonymous Milk Bread Baker. Oikawa stared at the note and back to the pan of milk bread, eyeing the knife next to the pan, preparing to cut a slice. He shoved the note into the bag, deciding to cut into the pan. It cut pretty nicely, seeing as it was kind of doughy. He set it on the plate, sliding it into a bite-sized piece, and taking a bite. It had a nice taste, but the texture was a little bit too doughy for this narcissistic boy's liking. He took out a paper and wrote a response about the milk bread, glancing at the cover of the pan and putting it back on. He quickly set the note down on the pan, placing it in his bag and walking out of the gym. He headed to the rooftop and then placed the pan where the baker had instructed, and returned to the locker room, preparing for another day of practice. Perception change. YN sat on the roof with her friend. All the way across the roof was where Oikawa was as he put down the pan of milk bread. YN was extremely careful when it came to this new milk bread thing, having their friend go and grab the pan in case he was going to linger a little bit longer than normal. Fortunately, the boy sat down the pan and left, leaving YN's friend to go pick it up for them. I don't get why you don't want him to know that it was you, but whatever, YN's friend said as the girl handed the pan over to YN. They took the pan, placing it down on their lap, their bottom shifting as the pan slid around slightly. I don't want his fangirls thinking that I'm after him, and I know you hate milk bread, so he's the only person I knew that liked it, and to be honest with me, YN timidly replied, a slight blush dusting their cheeks. YN was a very shy and timid person, opting for only 3 or 4 friends instead of a lot. They were a very attractive person, causing people to ask them out frequently, and them politely declining because they didn't like anyone but a certain someone. And their friend Kawai Onaka, I don't know how you say that, sorry, wouldn't be bothered because of her cold and harsh demeanor towards the fangirls and sometimes first years, who often got in their way of talking to Awazumi, one of the girls' best friends. Yeah, I know what they're capable of doing. It's kind of terrifying sometimes, Kawai commented, taking off the blazer that was on her shoulders and tying it around her waist. Ugh, it's so hot outside. Why do we have to wear our blazers right now? Probably because it's still a bit chilly outside, YN responded, taking a deep breath and opening the note, reading the critique about their first batch of milk bread. They sighed in relief, realizing that it wasn't quite as bad as they thought it would be. Kawai noticed YN reading the note, a slightly relieved face on their face. Dear Anonymous, thank you for the free milk bread. It tasted delicious, but it was a bit doughy. You could also make it a bit less sweet, because there was kind of a lot of sugar in this one, but overall it was delicious. Oikawa Tooru. Did he say good things? Kawai inquired, sitting down on the bench next to them, setting her hands behind her head, relaxing onto the bench. Yeah, surprisingly I did good for the first time, although he did say it was a bit too doughy, so I'll remember to bake it a little longer next time, even though I know I'll do worse next time, so I can't wait for the critique, YN said with a smile on their face. Twiddling with a note, Kawai gave a small smile towards the timid person, looking up to the clouds, knowing her friend was happy and that their longtime crush from elementary school had tasted and fairly critiqued their milk bread. Time skip. The next day. POV change. It's Oikawa's POV now. Again, Oikawa had unlocked the door to the locker room, smelling the bread again, not realizing that it was going to be a routine thing. He went over to the windowsill, seeing the pan on the window. There was a note there, in neat written hand letters. It said, "Dear Oikawa Toru, thank you for tasting my milk bread. I've had it altered to fit your standards, although it might be worse than the last time, because it always seems to happen to me in the second attempt. But it should be a little less doughy and less sweet. But, again, please give me your honest opinion on it. Put the pan in the same place that you put it, or put the pan along with the other items in the same place as before. I hope you enjoy this. Thank you, from Anonymous Milk Bread Baker." Again, huh? I guess they're actually using my feedback to improve. That's kind of weird. If it's some kind of fantasy, it would have upset me, but not making another pan. Oikawa put the note in his bag, cutting a slice and biting into it. He was greeted with a duller flavor and an overcooked texture. He didn't like it, but it was expected from what the note had said. He gave an honest response on the back of the note, writing it down and repeating what he had done yesterday, and came back to the locker room. The other teammates were in there, getting changed for volleyball, surprised to see the boy coming in late. "Oi, Trashikawa, you're not here early? What's going on?" "It's the same as yesterday, and you were late. Do you have a week of cleaning duty, or like a girlfriend or something?" Oizumi interrogated, changing into his practicing clothes. Oikawa laughed, rubbing the back of his neck. "No, I don't have a girlfriend or cleaning duty. I'm afraid I cannot say what it is," Oikawa replied, the smell of milk bread coming from him in his bag as he took out his gym clothes. "Were you held up with fans?" "I bet you were. That's why you smell like fresh milk bread," Matsukawa pointed out, picking up Oikawa's bag and looking inside. Oikawa was shirtless while he was trying to grab his bag back, but Matsukawa didn't find anything in there. "Give me my bag back, Matsukawa. There isn't anything in there, and I wasn't held up." He managed to grab hold of the bag, tearing it back from him and setting it down on the bench in front of his locker. "Then why do you smell like milk bread?" Hanamaki inquired, slipping his shirt on. "It's just how I smell now. Leave me alone, Maki." Oikawa closed his locker and put his uniform in there. "Liar," Kendaichi muttered, causing Oikawa to yell at him in response. "Onion head," Oikawa responded, leaving the locker room and starting to practice. Time skip. Well, actually, yeah, it is time skip technically. Oikawa is no longer his point of view. Wayan's point of view now. Wayan, once again, sat down on the other side of the rooftop with their friend, and saw Oikawa placing down a mostly full pan on an air conditioning unit. Kwai ran over to the pan, picking it up again and bringing it over. Kwai placed it down on Wayan's lap. "Here's your pan. Enjoy. I have to go to drama club now. See you later," the girl said, walking away. She stopped, however, when she got to the door. "I'm not doing this for you again. I have to go to drama club early to set up for practice for a performance that's at the end of the spring festival. This is a total waste of my time, and if the fangirls find out and try anything, I'll do everything to stop them, and I don't care if I get suspended." Wayan was worried for a second before hearing the last part, which made them sigh in relief as they nodded. In return, Kwai turned and left, leaving Wayan alone on the rooftop. They glanced at the pan with the note, noticing it was the same card they had used. They turned it over, revealing the critique on the back. They were fairly certain that the boy was too caught up with volleyball to pay much attention to them. "Dear Anonymous, thank you for the milk bread today. But like you had written on your note, this one was worse than the first one. It tasted a little too dull and it was overbaked. Try adding 3/4 of the amount of sugar and adding about 3 minutes onto your original baking time. Have fun baking. Regards, Oikawa Toru." A small smile formed across Wayan's face. They had put their note in the bag and kept it in mind for the baking process. They took their bag and baking pan, escaping for another day of baking for their crush, Oikawa Toru. Time skip. A week later, Oikawa had been getting a pan of milk bread every day for a week, and it was gradually getting better and better, to the point where he couldn't give any more improvements to add, and he was getting extremely curious about who this anonymous milk bread donor was. So he had went up to the rooftop and put the pan with the note, heading to the door on the roof, closing it behind him and waiting. He wrote to look up on the note. He wrote on the note to look up. What? He wrote on the to look up when he wrote the note. He heard shuffling from outside of the door. Hearing the pan click, he opened the door cautiously, seeing one of his old childhood friends, first name, last name, scurrying away towards a bench on the other side of the rooftop, unfolding the note and reading it. Dear Anonymous, your milk bread was absolutely delicious. I don't have anything for you to improve. You did great. I just think that you should write down the recipe for me and stuff if you were using a family one, because it was the best I've ever tasted. Anyways, you can look up on the, can you look up on the air conditioning vents? I'd like to see your pretty face. See you in a few seconds, Oikawa Tooru. YN froze, slowly looking up to see Oikawa leaning against the air conditioning vent in all his precious glory. He had a cheeky grin plastered over his face as he sent a wink and a salute. YN immediately covered up their face in embarrassment. Damn, Oikawa Tooru just tricked them, and they hadn't even thought that it was too obvious. If only their friend had stayed for that one day. They had sworn he had practice today. Yahoo! First name John. Oikawa yelled at the person, waving towards the other person on the side of the rooftop. They tried to pack up their things quickly, thinking that he'd leave them alone if they walked away. Oikawa ran over to the person, holding on to his bag on his shoulder. First name John, so you're the one who's been baking the bread for me? You're so sweet. We haven't talked in a while. How are you, cutie pie? Oikawa started to flirt, making a slight blush pop up on the recipient's face. Yeah, it's been a while, they quietly murmured, trying to walk faster, as people who hung around after school were noticing Oikawa talking to them. He just sped up to match their pace. So, how are you doing, first name? He inquired, trying to make small talk with an old childhood friend of his. I'm fine, Oikawa. They barely responded over a speaking voice. Don't you have practice today? Nope, we never practice on Mondays, so I guess I can just walk you home today. Oikawa continued to talk to YN, following them and walking them home. Them getting more and more open with the boy as they walked him home. As he walked them home. Soon enough, they had taken Oikawa's phone out to exchange numbers. It was a very shy exchange. I'll see you tomorrow, first name. He'd waved at YN, the person only to be caught off guard with the blunt comment. YN nodded shyly and waved at the boy, heart pounding in their chest. Oikawa walked home in peace, knowing that the person that was going to be in his future just had to win their heart. Too bad he didn't know that his heart was already theirs ages ago. Hey, that was so cute. I like that little cute ending thing. Sorry for the mistakes, guys. I think my brain is just like fried today or something. I don't know. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching. If you did like the video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time I post a video. And also comment down below some other characters you want me to do, and I'll try my best to do them for you guys. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.